Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Love Your Business Mom, where you learn hard lessons on surviving in business with the warmth and brutal honesty that only a mother can give. I'm here today with the amazing guest that I'm so excited I was able to book for you guys. His name is Austin Null. He's a creator economy star that you're going to be hearing a lot more from. So please introduce yourself to the people. Let them know a little bit about who you are. We met on LinkedIn. He has great content, but there's a lot more to him. So I want you to know kind of what he does.
Yeah, as Anna said, I am a creator economy star, and I told her to say that
Yes.
because no, I'm just kidding. That was wild, Anna. No, I'm just playing. My name's Austin, and so yeah, I've been in the creator economy for over 13 years. I started out early in the early days of the YouTube multi-channel network space, if you remember that, YouTube
Right.
Studios, full screen, all that. I was actually a full-time influencer after that, and then the past 8 years, I've been in the advertising space running influencer marketing programs, and I'm currently launching my own creator marketing agency. Actually, it's already launched by the time you've seen this. Yeah, called We
Yes.
Get It. So yeah, but I met Anna on LinkedIn. She was literally liking like every comment I think I ever commented, and I was like. At first, I was like, "What is this? Who is this?" And I was like,
Yeah.
and then I started looking more, but then I started seeing her in other people's comments that I know, and I'm like, "Okay, no, she's like real and cool." And then we connected, and here we are now doing podcasts. So yeah,
That's
excited to be here.
hilarious. I forget that when I give all my takes and I'm commenting on stuff that comes across my feed, that someone's getting a notification that, like, Anna liked your comment, Anna responded to your comment.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you saw there was like this one dude that some people on LinkedIn were talking about, and I think he
Mhm.
might be a bot, but everyone was like,
Oh.
so at first though
Did
I
you think I
was
was a
like,
bot?
well, I didn't think you were a bot, but I was like, is she
Okay.
using AI to do things? Like I wasn't sure at
Yeah.
first, but then I realized you're just super engaged in the community, and I like that. So yeah.
Thank you.
AI's got
Okay. Put
nothing
the
on
roof.
you, Anna. AI's got nothing
True.
on you, you know?
Look, one of my favorite connections, he's a wonderful guy. I'll link his profile in the show notes. He told me that I have an unhinged genius that AI could never replicate. And so to put the rumors to bed, it is literally me typing on my phone or typing on the computer. It's not a bot. As much as I work with automation, I don't use it much myself other than for like my back end business processes. So yeah, no, I'm very engaged in the community. I feel like for me, I've spent a lot of time in my life being grateful to be welcomed into other people's spaces, listening, engaging, learning, hyping people up. And I feel like you're very similar just from everything I know about you and the people we know in common. So I'd love to know more about, growing up, how you got into social media, because the time that you got into it is a time that I view as more of like the OG social media. It was a little more random and personal, and not everybody was doing it for money, even though a lot of people made a lot of money in that time. So
Yep.
kind of tell us your origins, like your personality and what got you into social, and why you're doing all this.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, the way that you just framed that, and then I started thinking about it in real time, made me realize, yeah, I'm just old, first of all, and yeah, I feel very OG in this space. Like, I'll just for the audience, I'll be 36 in September this year,
That's
so
not even old. Don't
um,
do that.
I know, I feel younger than ever,
Okay.
but thinking about the reality of it is that it was about 20 years ago when I guess what was it? Yeah, I just when I graduated high school, I got
Hmm.
a MacBook or something, and I started making videos on like the webcam thing, and I would just do it for fun. I was like playing piano
Yeah.
in some videos. I went to college, and me and my roommate we started making like basically vlogs. We just that wasn't really a
Love
thing
it.
then, and so I started doing that, and yeah, I ended up starting a YouTube channel after that. So I started early, like once YouTube was out, I was starting to post pretty consistently, and
Yeah.
then officially started a channel in 2010 that
Hmm.
eventually led to me working at Full Screen. I signed my channel with them, and then I DM'd their CEO at the time on Twitter. And I was like, "Hey, you should give me a job." And he's like, "All right." And then I moved out to LA, and
I love that.
I launched I will launch Full Screen social media. I was working with some of their top talent on their social, and then from there,
Hmm.
I actually after about a year, I was making more money on YouTube than they were paying me, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna do this. And so, yeah, so it's it kind of just steamrolled from there. But yeah, I mean, early on, I was just like, oh, YouTube is cool. I'm gonna just make random videos. But it's funny you say that too about before people were making money. I actually
Hmm.
remember when I started in 2010, when I started my official channel that eventually became my full
Hmm.
time thing. I remember watching people and knowing that it was sponsored, but this was before the FTC would really crack down on things, and they would
I know what
pretend
you're
that
talking about.
they would pretend like it wasn't sponsored. They'd be like, "Oh my god, so like we somehow got to go to this movie premiere," and it's like, "Yeah, they paid you to go and talk about
Yeah.
it." And yeah, so I remember early on knowing, "Oh yeah, like I want to do this. It's fun," and I've always just been kind of extra. But I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna do it and quit my job one day. I'm gonna make money from this, and so it ended up happening. But yeah,
I love that. Well, first of all, mini lesson, shoot your shot because you sent a Twitter DM and got an entire job that has obviously played a part in your trajectory career. So for anyone listening who's afraid to reach out, just reach out. Most people are afraid to do that, and so you'd be surprised where you can go.
I was
Hmm.
just having this convo the other day because I was telling someone that exact story, and I think LinkedIn. I mean, this is not the same as us getting a job, but Anna, you literally were just interacting with me, and now we're here doing a podcast. I have been
Literally.
on LinkedIn commenting on people, or you connect with them, and then you engage a little bit and then send a message. I've gotten connected to so many awesome,
Yeah.
huge brands, people, whatever, that can lead to great opportunities. So I guess what I'm saying is that's always been the thing that I love about social media is that one-to-one
Yeah.
connection. But I actually think LinkedIn now is very similar to how Twitter was in the early days, where that access is
Yes.
there. And so yeah, I don't know. I just think it's for anyone listening, if you want to do something, you could do it. Like there's ways
Yeah.
to like really hustle to what you want to get to. And I think LinkedIn is a great place to do that in the business world, especially.
I agree. And I feel like with LinkedIn, it's bringing up a lot of really interesting conversations, at least in my opinion, because when we talked about the second thing I wanted to talk about was the FTC and influencer marketing and affiliate links and all these things. Because I remember very similarly to the YouTube people who like very comically like, oh my God, I love this soda. And it's like you don't even drink it, right? There were so many like mommy bloggers and people writing articles and like journalists doing what I can't remember what they call it now, but like where they do like the sponsored content
Yeah.
that's paid and they weren't disclosing it. And so I do think it's really interesting how like hashtag ad has changed the landscape and how people approach ads. But LinkedIn is interesting because you can kind of turn on a brand partnership button and that's really all you have to do. But then there's like affiliate links. And I've been learning like even if it's like a referral code to a software, some people say, oh, just put something partner. Some people say, oh, no, you have to put a statement at the bottom. It's like, I'm an affiliate. I make money from your discount or whatever. What are your thoughts around all that? Like, how do you keep up with it in the space that you're in? Because I feel like it's overwhelming for a lot of people newer to
Literally, as I got on my computer right before this, I was looking through some of my emails and I get like
it.
some
Mm-hmm.
influencer marketing industry updates. And I won't say the name, but a pretty
Okay.
massive brand is getting like $150 million lawsuit thrown at them for
Mm,
their influencers not disclosing it in the year 2025, which is nuts.
that's crazy.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's obviously it's well, one, it's the law, like, and that scenario is the literal example of like, are we allowed to cuss? Or I
Oh,
won't
oh
cuss.
yeah, you can
Never
curse.
mind.
I just put it's explicit in the YouTube options.
Oh, okay,
You say
okay.
whatever you want to say as long as it's not
Well, the
inappropriate or a
phrase
slur.
"fuck around and find out" is yeah.
Yeah.
If you fuck around, you're gonna find out that hey, maybe just making sure that your influencers use hashtags and like actually disclose like that's super important. Same with
Yeah.
another thing is like now in the age of TikTok, everyone is just using music, audios and whatnot, right? And
Yes.
yeah, you can't do that. You can't use Rob 49 saying what the helly,
Right.
like it's fun.
Right.
It's a great trend, but you can't do that brand, what I mean, unless you get the clearance
Yeah.
for it. So I think it is TikTok especially. I think
Hmm.
kind of it was already the Wild West, but I think TikTok kind of made it a little more wild. And a lot of people just aren't really familiar with how things need to go, but it's super important. So yeah.
Yeah, like I honestly at this point am like semi paranoid about it because I'm just like, look, even if I'm gonna get some like royalty free music for the background of my video, I'm gonna like reference where it's from and make sure I get it from like Canva or YouTube Studio or wherever I'm supposed to get it to like be allowed to use it. It's a lot to navigate. Do you have any suggestions of like resources or places people should look for that kind of information so they don't mess up
I mean, the FTC has it all laid out. I'm pretty
in
sure
their
there's like
guide?
a landing page that they do. But what I would say is, think about it like the whole reason that it exists is because they want you to clearly disclose that you were given something or paid or partnership, right?
Yeah.
If you think to yourself, am I making it super clear that this is a thing? Like, 'cause I've done some LinkedIn sponsorships where I don't do like hashtag ad. I'll literally write out like, yeah, because this is a sponsored post. Like I'll almost do it like tongue in cheek. But if you
Yeah.
think about it, like going to court, if you were to argue in court, did I make it clear? Yeah, I feel like I did. Like, how can you read this and not think it's, you know what I
Mm,
mean? So I
that's a
would
good
say just
point.
think about it like that. Like, I mean, hopefully you're not getting sued, but like, if you were to go to
No.
court, can you argue in good faith? Yeah, this is pretty clearly spot. You know what I mean? So like, I would say just even think of it
Yeah.
like that. In addition to, especially if you're in the industry, though, like you should know,
Yeah.
you know, the very legal and the rules, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'll definitely link. There's like a little FTC guide. I think I know the PDF you're talking about. I'll definitely link that for anybody in the show notes. Leaning more into pivots. You've made pivots in your social media career. I love a good pivot. I feel like people have like one or two trajectories. There's people. I interviewed my auntie for the very first episode, and she's been a chef for 18 years, and she's always been a chef, and she's gonna be, and she's the best, right? Then so it's like people who just do a thing and they're great at it their whole life, which is incredible. And then there's people who are like, I did this thing and then I did that thing and then I mixed them together and did this other thing. And I feel like you fall more in that category. So we've talked a little bit about, you DM the CEO and getting to LA and your trajectory. Lead me a little bit through your content career and then getting into the advertising side and now entrepreneurship. I feel like there's a lot to unpack there about why you did those things and what you learned from those.
Yeah. Well, so I, it's weird. I mean, I'll just get into like some literal things. So I grew up. Uh, well, I don't know. I grew up and I just thought I was supposed to get married and have
Mm,
kids, and I did that. I got married at 19. I started
yeah.
very young. And what my YouTube channel was family vlogs. It didn't start out that way. I
Oh,
started
okay.
I started making videos before I had kids. So it was
Gotcha.
cringe. Yes, family vlogs are very. I wouldn't ever do it now, but I
Yeah.
started out making videos, just me, just being goofy, and then I was vlogging, you know, being newly married, and then we had kids, and then it
Yeah.
just became family vlogs. I say all that to say I lived that life, and it also was my goal. Like I mentioned, when I started my YouTube channel in 2010, you know, it took 2 years. I think after 2 years, I had 4,000 subscribers.
Mm,
So it wasn't like I was but I was sticking with it. But I knew I was like,
yeah.
I can make money. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be my thing. And then it became my thing. I think after year three, we went from 4,000 to over 100,000, and then peaked at like
Wow.
400,000. But I say all that to say, um, that was like all my focus in life. I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Mm,
Then I got divorced, and family vlogs don't work very well when you're divorced,
no.
Uh, but no, I also though was just during the time. I mean, obviously there was lots of life things going on, but I also it wasn't good for
Hmm.
my mental health. I'm very much like I'll go all in. Like so, I'm like, all right, I have to figure out how to like look into the analytics and what it works here, and then like okay, but we have to do
Yeah.
this. But when you're doing that and the content is your life, then it becomes weird and like Truman Show esque, and it's like
Yes.
okay, hey, let's go to Target and we can just like vlog there and like that'll be content. And then it's like we didn't need to go. What are we even
Yeah.
doing? Half of my day is just things that I'm doing because I feel like I need to get content, and I'm not even living my life for me. I'm living it for views, which also is
Mm,
dependent on a check and money. You know what I mean? Like so, it's just like
yeah.
it wasn't
You're like a
great for my mental
character.
health.
It's weird.
Yeah, it literally. So I say all that to say there in my I'm about to be 36. I
So
have
old.
I have pre-divorce life and post-divorce
Yeah.
life, and it actually was at that time where when I got divorced is when I was like, all right, well I'm already done. I don't want to keep being a creator. And then that's when I moved over into advertising. I'm in Kansas
Mm,
City, and so I was talking to some of the advertising agencies around town. There's a couple big ones. And I ended up convincing one to create a director of influencer role for me. Excuse me, this was in 2017.
oh.
And I had already been living a full-time influencer life. So I'm like, yeah, this is a thing. I've been getting paid. Brands are doing this. I didn't realize that the advertising industry as a whole is still so far behind. So I came in and I was like just basically stepping on everyone's toes. Everyone was like, "Who's this guy? What is he talking about? This is how we do
Yeah.
things. This is," and I'm like, "Well, okay, how y'all do things is old and outdated, and no one cares about TV." But yeah, so that, I guess I say all that to say that was like kind of the split, right? So I lived that whole
Yeah.
creator life. I did everything I wanted to do. I achieved everything I was wanting to achieve. I was still very unhappy. It wasn't
Mm.
fulfilling. It was stressful. And so then I pivoted into this space, and uh, it's been crazy too. It's been a lot of kind of uphill battles of trying to work in these outdated structures that are advertising agencies. Um,
Yeah.
in a social first world, they're still, making all their money from TV, really. Not pushing clients to allocate budgets towards social.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's been kind of my uphill battle the last 8 years, which is why I'm doing my own thing now.
Yeah, and you named it. I love a good name, and you named it We Get It because you get it. And that has so many meanings across
We
so
get
many
it,
different.
Anna. You're included in that, Anna. You get
Thank you.
it.
We get it. And what I love is at the center of your mission is something that's really important to me and something that in this podcast, because I'm not gonna there's not a Trojan horse. I'm gonna be honest about it. One of my goals is worker empowerment and having real conversations because I've done the corporate thing, I've done the entrepreneurial thing, I've done a lot of in between as well, and all the working your way up hospitality type roles. And I've just noticed that there's this narrative of what success looked like. There's a narrative of what you should aspire to, and a narrative of who should get what level of compensation, and all these other things based on very weird, very outdated ideas that obviously don't apply. And it's been really encouraging for the last couple of years for me to see people being like, actually, no. Like, actually, no, I should get paid more. Actually, no, you shouldn't be able to call me at 11 p.m. when I have PTO, right? And so, tell us a little bit more about We Get It, the overall kind of ethos, mission, whatever you want to call it, because I think people will be really interested to hear more about
Yeah, wow. You said so many things that made me want to go on a rant about like capitalism and white
that.
supremacy, because
Right.
that's really the structure of corporate that
It
has
is.
led to all these things. Um, but okay, yeah, so I'll start with We Get It. So We Get It
Okay.
is, I'm calling it a creative agency powered by creators. It's in a lot of ways, it's in a lot of people's minds, they're going to say, oh, it's an influence marketing agency. I'm purposely calling it a creative agency because when people hear that in the advertising space, it's like, oh yeah, Ogilvy, or like these
Mm-hmm.
72 and Sunny. And by the way, this is not like shade at them. But that's like where people's heads go, right?
That's the
Uh,
category they fit into. Yeah.
yeah, and I want to reshape and refocus and recenter what a creative agency is in a social first world. And so what we're going to do is work out of we're going to build what I call creator brand studios. So the
Mm-hmm.
client will put money into their studio. It's not a physical studio, but put money in there, and then we're working to basically just churn out all the things needed in a social first world. And it'll be run by what I call creator strategists. And I'm going to talk about that in the pay in just a minute, what you were talking about. But creator strategists, people that have brand and agency experience running influence marketing campaigns, social media, all that. And then we're going to bring in actual creators as freelancers to build strategy and creative with us, which I think will just lead to a better output of work. As opposed to in the traditional world, it's like you have your strategy department, your creative department, your
Right.
account department, social department. So it's like all these cooks in the kitchen. I just want to go to the source and build with the source, which are creators. And so the
Absolutely.
the idea though is that we'll in within that we're building out all the creative and the strategy, but we're also using creators to obviously do influence marketing campaigns, have creators make all the paid social assets for that brand, have them make all the
Yeah.
organic social content, use their audiences for social listening, do experiential events with
Mm-hmm.
them and their audience, have focus groups, learning and development sessions with the C-suite of the brand. So like all these things kind of
Yes.
housed within this studio, just churning out a lot of things that already kind of exist, but in a more wholly integrated
Yeah.
way, but having creators be part of every step of the process and not just a tactic after the fact.
I
Boom. I
love
said
that.
all that. Now, what I wanted to get to about what you were saying is
Yes.
the structures of advertising agencies. Yes, they're outdated and inefficient and lack focus in terms of like a lot of the way that they create things for clients, but the pay is nuts. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'll,
Tell them about
if,
it.
yeah, so if people don't understand, most advertising agencies basically charge hourly rates to the client. So, and it's based on like, okay, hey, you're giving us a whole bunch of money, but we're going to need 40 hours a week, full-time workers for however many, based on a
Mm-hmm.
year you scope out. It's all math, right? And
Yep.
so, but then it's all based on an hourly rate. So I think it's like 2,000 something hours in the year. And so they'll do usually a blended rate. And so let's call it $160 an hour. So
Mm-hmm.
2,000 hours times 160, blah, you can do the math. It's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So I remember working at an advertising agency after I had started moving up a little bit. I was making like $80,000 a year. I was
Mm-hmm.
part of the scoping discussions though, and I've been working on this brand and this client for like 2 years. I'm looking at it though, and then one day I'm just like, wait, my hourly rate that I've been working on for this client for 2 years would, if I just took all that money, I'd be getting paid $280,000 a year. But I'm getting paid $80,000 a year. And I get
Mm-hmm.
it that in a full time role, there are overhead costs, like you got your health insurance and other things that are like a lot of things are being covered. And then, agencies are paying for their buildings and leases and all
But
that,
like
right?
$200,000 worth of
But two hundred
things, that's
thousand dollars
crazy.
difference, goddamn, that's insane.
Right. That's
So,
insane.
I remember in that moment, it kind of clicked for me, and I'm just like, this is so backwards. So, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about, and look, I don't know that it's going to happen on day one. Like, I got to kind of grow into things and
Could.
like get clients to where I'm getting in the right budgets to do this. But my goal,
Yeah.
if we get it, is to, at minimum, I don't care what your years of experience are. At minimum, everyone is getting $100 an hour for full time hours, right? So if
As
you're
they should.
ideally working 40 hours a week, I'm paying you $100 an hour. Um, that's really good, I think. I don't know, like
Yes.
at minimum, right? And so,
Yeah.
but the way that I'm looking at it is, whatever a brand is paying their agency for their hourly rates and scoped out, I'm just going to come in under that every time, but I'm not taking overhead. I might take a little bit just because there's like little things, I might
You
need
got
a
to do
little
labor
a
too.
little bit here
It's
and there.
fair.
But like in my world, it would be like, oh, I'm going to charge the client $125 an hour, and then you, the marketer, I'm going to pay you $120 an hour. You know what I mean? Like
It's like a
that's and
manager
so
fee. That's how I look at it.
yeah, and so that's what I am really excited about is changing. And I mentioned capitalism. I have
Let's
lots of
get,
thoughts on
please.
all that stuff, but you know, I'm already in this world, right? I already know that this money is out there. A big thing
Mm-hmm.
that I'm very big on, especially in the creator space, like one of the reasons I've loved working in influencer marketing is I'm the one that decides which influencer we work with. And
Right.
I've been very big on pushing for underrepresented voices to be seen, worked with brands. And to
Yeah.
me, I'm not paying them, but like I'm utilizing these funds that are going to go to somebody, and I'm
Yeah.
able to redisperse them to people that I feel, hey, you don't always get these opportunities. I want to give that to you, right? So that's been something I've always been big on. And now within this, I want to do the exact same thing, continue doing that for creators, but also do it for marketers. So if you
Yeah.
got 2 years experience, normally you're going to have to go in and be like a coordinator role, an associate manager role.
Right.
You're going to get paid $60,000 a year. I'm going to pay you $100 an hour, $120 an hour, because you get it. Like, and look, obviously, it's not just like anybody. Like, if you have
Yeah. You have to
two
have the
years of
skill and the
experience, but
talent.
you're really good, like, you need to obviously know what you're doing. But I've met so many people. Some of the best people I've met,
Yeah.
especially in advertising the past 8 years, uh, all I met most of them when they were coordinators, and from day one I
Mm-hmm.
was like, you're like so smart, you're so great,
Right.
you're so talented. And they've gone to grow on to become, and they have awesome careers. But I remember seeing people early on just being like, you deserve so much more, and you're just always having to go through these corporate ladders. So from a marketer standpoint, I'm really excited because we're 100% freelance. You can work wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's freelance, so I guess you got to figure out your own taxes. I'm actually working on a partnership to hopefully help people figure that out on their own.
Nice.
But I'd rather you have to figure things out and have more money, and also not get laid off because, oh, I got
Right.
a client, I just let me hire 20 people. Oh, I lost one. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of 10 of you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want that to be a thing either. It's like, because this is the freelance, it's
Project work.
contract, whatever. Like, and ideally, the clients will be renewing because we're going to be doing work just like any other agency. But how much you're getting paid, a lot of money, hopefully. When the contract is up, and you also have the flexibility to do other things too. So that's like the structure from a worker standpoint that I'm excited about my agency because I think the work we're going to do for clients is great and going to disrupt the
Yeah,
industry. But I'm equally, if not more so, excited about being able to pay people what they're worth,
that
utilize
part.
this system that is already like it's a multi-billion dollar industry. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
just take that money and try and put people on. And at the end of the day, I also don't care. I don't care about being a millionaire. I'm cool with like
Exactly.
a couple 100,000, 300,000. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Yeah, let's get
lot of
stable. Let's
money.
get financially secure. We're
Well,
good,
I think
you
I think
know?
in America in this system, especially, everyone's like, oh, I gotta be a millionaire. I gotta be a billionaire. It's like y'all, and I don't mean this. Please don't take this the wrong way. Y'all haven't even
Okay.
made six figures. Go make two
Yeah.
hundred thousand dollars. Guess what? You'll be like, that's a lot of money. I'm actually cool. Like I could live like this the rest of my. You know what I mean? It's like I think
Yeah. Like,
in
oh,
our
my basic
society,
needs are met.
and
Like,
and then some, and I'm traveling, and I'm taking my kids here. You know what I mean? Like I think
yeah.
I think we get caught up in this system of like we need to be millionaires and billionaires and build unicorns. It's like, yo, I promise you, like once I was able to make a good amount of money, like doing YouTube, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I feel like a millionaire. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's my thing is like I want to be able to pay people really well, meet all their needs. I'll hopefully allow them to be inspired and do great work. Um,
I love that. I'll be honest, like when I was in corporate, I was very similar to the marketers you talk about, right? Like I did all these roles. I took a promotion to move across the country just so I could afford daycare. I mean, it was abysmal, right? Like my raise literally only covered daycare. It was crazy. And so, I get that. And that's part of why I went on my own. And I think a lot of people do it for those reasons. And how do I put this in a way that's not unkind? Give me a moment. um, I think we have to tie back to something you said that we haven't gone back to actually explain this point. A lot of and not all agencies, right? A lot of agencies and a lot of corporations are created for the sole purpose of profit, right? And that's great. Make money. We love making money.
yeah,
But often they could have better results if they did give workers stability, pay them adequately, not threaten them to lose their jobs all the time, and not stress them out. But they always or almost always choose the path of, like you said, just rash decisions, paying people abysmally, extracting as much money out of the labor as they can in the moment. And it's just not sustainable. And I just don't get why they keep doing it. And I think your point about, capitalism, we can link video resources. We don't have to explain like why capitalism can be difficult, system
or
to
why it
survive. But
is evil. Yeah, it is
yeah,
evil.
exactly.
We're
But
working. I'm acting. That's the thing. And look, I'll be the first to say it. It is
yeah,
evil, and I'm working in it, and I'm just going to try
because
and do the best I can within it. I think other people
yeah,
who are true revolutionaries, who I actually look at as truly more aspiring, they are the ones that would be like, "Fuck that! You're just taking part of the system," and I get it. But yeah, no,
yeah.
sorry, just
Look,
wanted to
I'm
throw that
feeding
in.
my kids, so yes, I'm going to
Yeah,
exist within the system because I have to survive. But the parts of it that we can dismantle and change with the level of like privilege and access that we have, let's do that, right? And I think
yeah,
you said something really pertinent that I want people to understand, which is that the business world and what is professional and what is considered acceptable is a system, especially in Western countries, but semi globally at this point, for most people, of white supremacy because having a particular hairstyle, it's always about, oh, it doesn't look white, right? Like having a particular mannerism and how you speak and da da da. Like I'm white and I'm Southern. I even code switch just out of my accent sometimes when I was in corporate because people are like, why does she speak like that? You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
it's insane. And I think that as more people, who get success and are able to start businesses and take the risk like you're able to do, I really admire that because you could just like keep getting brand deals, make a bunch of money, take some exec role, and just not mind and not care. And you could take home $200,000, $300,000 if you were in the right position. But instead, you're like, actually, let me do that and bring like all these people with me and all of us build together. And it's just a better way to be more like Austin, please.
Uh, No, I well, it's look, I'll be the first to admit too, I have not always been this way. I grew up very conservative Christian.
Mm,
Hey, look, everyone lives their life. As long as you treat people right, I'm not going to judge you. That's how I grew up. I was not always thinking the way that I think now. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy. Well, I'm not even going to try and give that person any type of shine, but there's so many discussions around DEI and things like that, and
yeah.
it's like it's all insane to me because like the literal statistics show the pay differences, pay wage
Hmm.
gaps and whatnot from white men even to white women, and then obviously black women usually all the way down at the totem pole, right? So it's like all these different wage gaps exist
Yeah.
statistically. We can't argue with that. It's just literal stats and facts. And then, you got all these people like, oh, DEI is coming for the white people. It's like, we literally are the
We have
vast
all of
majority
it.
of employees at all these places. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how
Yeah.
can we be under attack when we're 60, 70% of of a company's workforce or whatever? Like, so it's just backwards stuff. And I think, yeah, in this climate we're in, I think we're seeing way too many brands just kind of, oh, we got to do this or we got to do that. I'm very clear on I'm not trying to work with you if you don't fuck with my values and vision.
That part.
I actually was on a call. It was like a kind of a startup brand, but I
Hmm.
got introduced to pitch them on the call. Like I had a thing showcasing how I value DEI, and they were kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, what do you mean by? And I was like, I mean, I
We're good.
told them everything, but then after the call, I told my friend that introduced me, I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm not working with them. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know if they like me or not, but I'm just letting you know right now, I'm not even entertaining this anymore. So that's how
Yeah.
I plan to be vocal and outspoken in this. But my thing is like, it's not about like this is my focus is on humans, right? So like
Yeah.
it's not like it's some like
You're
we're
not trying to be like, I
trying.
get the woke guy award.
Yeah, I'm a woke guy and like I'm an ally. Like I'm not trying to do that shit. Like I really don't care what you think. You can think that, or you can think I'm cool, or you can think I'm full of shit. What
Yeah.
the reason I'm doing all this is because of all those things we just said. Like I'm not about to work with clients that aren't going to value, because I'm about to bring in marketers that don't look like me. I'm about to bring in
Yeah.
creators that don't look like me. If you don't value that and respect them, I don't want to work with you.
Right.
And then also, I'm saying all these things about the workplace and capitalism because I just want
Hmm.
people to like feed their families and live a good life. Like, so it's not
What?
about like some virtue signaling. It's just like, yeah, like I think this is how we should live. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
don't think that, that's cool, but we're probably not going to work out as a company. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I constantly find myself struggling with that because my client services business is in tech, right? And so, the other day I was on a call with a colleague who I absolutely adore. And we were talking about all these different softwares and the different options we had. And I mentioned one, I'm not going to call them out because they definitely would have the budget to sue me. But I mentioned a particular software that I noticed was falling off that I've never really been a fan of. I've used it on a couple contracts, when it was appropriate for the work. And I was like, but I'm not really, a proponent of it. I turned down an offer for partnership, all that kind of stuff. And he was like, oh, well, I'm glad you turned it down. And I was like, why? And he was like, for Islamic reasons. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, oh, like they support some genocidal maniacs. And I was like, oh, and I like looked into the owners of the company and I was like, oh, like I can't ever look at the software again because like I just can't like, and it's
Yeah.
just it's interesting how sneaky. And in the advertising industry I know there's a lot of similar problems, so I think it'll be really cool to see who you end up partnering with. I personally project, and I want your opinion on this as someone more of what I view as like an industry insider. I'm just watching patterns from the side. I feel like a lot of people are building a collective mentality. I know I'm getting involved in my own collaborations, and I think a lot more people like yourself are building things where they're like, hey, here's some people that I know are really talented. What if we do this and we partner with brands? I think a lot of people who are entrepreneurial and starting companies that would pay influencers and pay creators and advertisers are also of the same mindset and being like, no, like we're going to build intentionally and slow and partner with advertisers who get our values. And I think that's going to win in the end because it's more real to what people want and what feels right. What do you think?
I totally agree. So it's so funny because, like, back to the capitalism component, um,
Hmm.
what do they care about? What do companies care about? They care about, like, saving money. You know what I mean? Like, not.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's a big thing that I, from a business standpoint, when I said earlier, okay, I mean, average advertising hourly rates are like $150 to $250 an hour.
Hmm.
I, if I just come to a brand and I say, hey, look at my years of experience, look at all the things I've done. Obviously, I know what I'm doing. I'll do it for less.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? They're going to say, yeah, you know what I mean? And so,
Right. Like they save money too.
yeah. And so I say that to say, though, um, I think that is why certain places can win, is because, and you're seeing it now. I mean, the advertising agency industry is just consolidating. Like,
Hmm.
the big holding companies are just pulling everyone together. They're buying up everything. And as someone that's worked in these industries and seen firsthand how that works, it's already slow and, like, takes forever to get anything done. It's like
Yeah.
trudging through mud. You think it's
Hmm.
going to get better when they all just come together? It's insane. So that, and they're doing that because, and look, I've said this, like, the advertising agency industry as we know it, I think is going to be dead in 5 years. I
Hmm.
truly, like, well, maybe 5 to 10, because they are so massive. It's not like they're just going to disappear. But there's a reason
Yeah.
they're all doing that. It's because the model doesn't work anymore. It's unsustainable, and brands, while it is flashy because it's like, oh yeah, it's this name we've known for 50, 60 years,
Hmm.
they care about money. They
Yeah.
got I mean, those agencies have shareholders, but the brands are the ones that truly have
Hmm.
shareholders. So yeah, it's ripe for people like us who can come in and undercut from our, like, a rate standpoint, a monetary standpoint. We can undercut
Yeah.
and be more affordable. And if you're smart, like, I mean, now I sound like an asshole saying I'm smart, but if you're
You're
smart,
smart like
hey,
me.
guess what? Just don't take a bunch of profit, and everyone can make money. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
that's why I think I'm super excited about, like, what this can be. Because yeah,
Yeah.
the industry is, it's just very bloated right now. It's
Yeah.
in, and I, if I'm being honest too, the influence
Hmm.
marketing space is starting to get a little bit like that too, because they
Yeah.
went the tech route, and
They did.
everything has been tech. It's been, now it's AI. Oh, this, and
Hmm.
I want to be clear. There's some people, like, I work with Archive, for instance. They have some
Yeah.
great technology that I actually think is super
Yeah.
useful. So I want to be clear. I'm not shitting on everyone in tech, but the
Yeah.
industry of tech as a whole is just scale, scale, scale. Don't really maybe offer something, but it's like, you know what I mean? So in the
Yeah.
influencer space, what has happened is influencers started because authentic audiences were becoming a thing. The brands were like, whoa, these audiences, like, this influencer said one thing, and then 500
They
people were
convert.
outside of a Popeyes or something, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it leads to real things. So brands were like, let's come in. And then they basically just kind of started treating it like TV, which killed a lot of it. And then the
Hmm.
influencer agencies became tech agencies, and they're like, we'll get 1,000 creators for you. And it's like,
Right.
how is any of that, like, authentically affecting and impacting culture? It's not. It's just content and noise and space. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm excited to also call it a creative agency, because I'm not trying to, have a huge tech stack and be like, yeah, look at this, I'll get you 1,000 creators and I'll pay all of them $200 or some. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna work with people that affect and create culture and have true communities. And if you, as a brand, are smart, you'll come alongside and empower them. And that's how we're gonna do work, because it has to be a true partnership and empowerment of those existing communities for a
Yeah.
brand to win in today's day and age. There's enough content, there's enough noise, and just scaling for the sake of scaling, in my opinion, doesn't, like, do anything. So yeah.
Yeah. Because eventually, where do you go? Right. And I feel like for me, what's always funny is whether it's this or other trends that I've noticed across just the entire world of business at this point. So many things that to someone hearing this conversation might sound new or inventive. I almost feel like we're just returning to being more human and like being more logical. and just doing things that make sense. Because if I think about like a long time ago, like pre-American domination of advertising, the way that it influences culture today, how did things get spread, right? It spreads through influence within communities. It spreads through word of mouth. It spreads through like, oh, Tanya's really great at sewing. If your dress rips, go to her. And now
Yeah.
Tanya's making money every month because everybody
Yep.
knows she can sew dresses. Like, that's just what we've always done as people. And I think it's so funny. The longer the bloating happens in any industry, the more you have to start trimming that fat, coming for kind of the traditional strength. Like, actually, if we just do the thing that people are looking for, it'll be great and it'll last.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT the other day, how do I be more human? No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, I can't stand AI. I'm not gonna lie, but no, you're exactly right. It's community, and that's like so a big thing that I talk about with We Get It is
Mm-hmm.
I think what do I say? I say basically we do all the things an agency does, just more nimble, more integrated, and most importantly through creators and community. And it's not just
I love that.
creators; it's community. Like community is the most important thing, and it's a um, creators build community, and then that impacts culture, right? These are all
Yeah.
the buzzwords that everyone says: creators, community, culture.
Mm.
But like, if you really stop and think about it, like that is how it
Yeah.
works. And then brands, they just come in most times and just try and hijack and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what was this? Let me be here." And it's like, we didn't
Yeah.
ask for you. You weren't part of this community. Community means that there's like actual conversations happening, and you know what I mean. So I think
Exactly.
we need to get back to. I, I see people. I see people talk about like the word authentic is overused, and I'm a big proponent of no, just like actually use it and value the meaning of the word. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
uh, authenticity is really good, and that we should strive for that. And that is what a lot of these creators are doing, and how they're having success is because they're authentic. It's
Yeah.
not an overused buzzword. Like we just need to value the meaning behind these words and not just use them flippantly. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm big on community. I think that is a super important thing that has become a buzzword, and the brands and agencies and everyone has just kind of forgot. Okay, well,
Yeah.
if we're going to talk about being part of community or building community, what does that actually mean? Oh, it means investing time. It doesn't mean just putting a piece of
No
content out
immediate
and then
results.
you got some comments on a piece of content and now you have community. No, that's not how that works. Like, you know what I mean?
Not at
So
all.
there's layers to it, and that's what I'm trying to focus on.
I also think you tapped on something that, as a person who kind of lives in the world of like data and systems, right, that I don't think I get to experience enough or unpack enough, which is there's these really intangible metrics that you can feel and you can notice and you can know, but you can't fully put them into like a percentage or a number, right? So, for example, there is a sense I have that there's certain brands who are really tapped into like the LinkedIn space and who's really building community there versus people who just have a lot of followers. And every time I see particular creators promote something who I know are pretty picky about what they promote, I see the same 3 or 4 creators that I also know are picky and are a particular way. And so every time I see that person, I'm like, oh, let me go find the other person. I know they're posting about this too. That's not something you can really measure. I'm sure they're measuring like clicks and all these things, but that feeling of like, oh, so and so posted, I bet so and so posted that. That's intangible. That's
Yeah.
community, that's culture, that's you kind of just caring about the human side of it. So I just think it's so interesting, and I can't wait to see what We Get It does and what you guys kind of bring to the table, because I think it is going to change no matter what social space you're in, like how these agencies approach it, because you're going to outperform them long term.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a big thing, another thing I'll mention too, I kind of mentioned it in passing, but when I say like bring creators in to build
Mm-hmm.
strategy and creative with us, another big thing that I'm excited about is that those, it's not like I'm going to be like, hey, Keith Lee, you want to come build some strategy for a brand? Like he's getting paid $100,000
Yeah,
minimum
he's a
for
busy
a
guy.
post, right? So
Yeah.
this is something that will be mainly micro creators. And
Love
if you're a
that.
micro creator, let's say you have 50,000, maybe even up to 100,000 followers or less, but like let's just say 50,000 followers. You have real community. You have great creative content. You have a channel strategy. You have so many things
Hmm.
that to offer, but you're in a very oversaturated space at that size. It's hard to get brand deals. Monetization might
Yeah.
be hard. So a big thing that I'm excited about when We Get It, and that idea of bringing creators in as freelancers is I'm paying you those same hourly rates that I'm paying those marketers, right? So like I may need you for just a week of work just to come in and be creative. Maybe your audience is the target audience of what the brand is going after. I'll pay you, I don't know, 3 to 5K for a week of work. And that's like, that's probably what that's one, I would say pretty good for a week of work. Two, what you're probably charging for a brand deal ish in that area, right? So
Yeah.
it's another opportunity to like, once again, focus on creators, focus on empowering people to have just new options to do things. And, you know, I just, I think that's a whole other thing I need to figure out, or not figure out, I've already figured it out, but like build a network and opportunity for a pipeline for like educational resources for these creators as
Love
well.
that.
So, yeah.
Speaking of resources, you remind me of something that I'm also going to link in the notes. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a podcast that's huge, Diary of a CEO, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a marketer, Grace Andrews. And so people are like, oh, this girl's really smart because they realized she was the reason that they started doing like a social first strategy before it was the thing that all the podcasts do now. And what I liked was what she said when she was like, as a creator, when you're giving me a brief, why do I not get to tell you what I know will convert my audience? And I'm having to do the stuffy thing that I'm telling you will not get any traction and it's not going to accomplish your goal. You're basically paying me to not reach your goal. And she's like, or I could just do my thing. And I love that with you incorporating creators, only people who make the content know their audience. Like an artist knows their listeners, right? Like someone who makes music knows what they're waiting for them to release. It's the same thing. And I like that you're kind of getting closer to the source and who you're trying to reach, which is the consumer. So I think it's brilliant. And we are getting close to time. So
Yeah.
even though I could talk to you for hours, we'll bring you
I
on
know.
later season as
We've
you
been
grow the
yapping.
agency.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. As you grow, what did you call we get it? What was the term?
Oh,
You
a
called it
creative
a
agency.
creative agency. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's
as
an
you grow,
agency. That's fine. Yeah.
it's just a less icky agency. It's nice and
Yeah.
empowering. We
It's a
love that.
creative agency powered by creators. That's the tagline. Yeah.
I love that. So from this, there's a lot of lessons I could take away, but I think the most authentic to the vibe of this conversation would just be the idea of cutting the bullshit. And the reason I say that is that's your approach to business. That seems to be your approach to life. It's like if you cut the bullshit, whether it's the structures, the formality, the extraction of labor, whatever it is, and you just do the thing, you can be very successful and you can have that last. So, one, do you agree that's a good lesson to take away? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I do. I think I
Yes.
would say cut the bullshit, but also cut the bullshit to, I think the bullshit is what's holding humans back. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. Like, human empowerment can only
Yeah.
thrive when we cut the bullshit. And so that could
I
be
love
cut the
that.
bullshit with like, let me cut the bullshit and do a business deal, or just cut the bullshit so that the business will happen. Yeah, but like the humans will thrive and be better. And that's what I
I love
ultimately
that.
want.
So to thrive, you need to cut the bullshit. I love that. And what's one actionable thing that people can do after listening to this episode to work towards that goal? They don't have to fully accomplish it, but whether it's a mindset shift, an action, what's something people can do to start trying to let that humanity thrive and cut the bullshit?
I'm thinking of a few different things, but I think honestly, what comes to mind more than anything is,
Mm-hmm.
we went through COVID and it was an
Yeah.
isolation, and I think it affected all of us in more ways than we know. But one thing
Mm-hmm.
it did, and I even have to deal with this sometimes, is it did kind of get us away from community. It got us away from talking to people.
Yeah.
Not just like sending someone a TikTok and be like, that was funny, but like checking
Right.
in, having real conversations, sitting down with
Yeah.
someone over dinner and just like talking. That's the
Yeah.
only way that you're going to ever thrive as a human, is when you talk to more and more people and understand their experiences. So I would say let's get back to that. It's been hard post
Yeah.
COVID. I think a lot of us maybe got like subconscious things rooted in us because of that isolation. So get back to that. But most importantly, too, talk to people that don't look like you. Talk to people that go through different experiences you, especially as a white person, as you and I are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, get outside your comfort zone. Like, there's more to the
Yeah.
world than our own experiences. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate you so much. I feel like there's going to be a lot that people can learn from this lesson. So thank you for gracing this virtual stage. At this point, I have one last question, and then I'm going to allow you to plug anything and everything and where people can find you. And that is that season one of Love Your Business Mom, the theme is family values. And I'm flipping it on its head because it's not any kind of political or negative connotation that people think of. I really want to talk about who we are at home with our family, whether that's with children, with your parents, with your uncles and cousins, whoever is family to you, we often have values that take us into work and affect how we show up in work. One of my big ones is honesty. I won't dig into it because at this point in the season, everyone's heard why and how it works. But what's a family value from your personal life that you take into work and affects how you show up?
Um, Honestly, honesty is a big one for me too.
Not you taking my no,
I know, right? Well, you said it, and I'm like, damn, that's literally how I live my life. Like, especially as I mentioned, I have like pre and then new
mm-hmm.
Austin. Like, new Austin is insane honesty. So I think that is key.
Yeah,
I'll also just say, it's gonna sound so bullshit, but like positivity, like I'm always
yeah,
trying to, and I know that's harder for other people. It's harder for some people more than others, but like reframing the contextual experience you're in to find the positive and find the light
mm,
at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes the light is this big, sometimes it's that big, right? But like
yeah,
I just realized some people may just be listening and not looking. But yeah, like the light at the end of the tunnel can be big or small.
yeah,
But find the positivity and try to recontextualize whatever you're going through, whether it's the highs or the lows. And yeah,
mm,
that's what I try to do with my fiance, with my kids, is always, and myself too, just always focus us on what can be the next positive thing for us to get to. So
thank you. By the way, bonus mini lesson. You got too many lessons. I've never done that before. Austin, before he went into this entrepreneurial venture, has a great lesson for you all. Take the PTO. He took the PTO and he came back engaged, and we are all so
true.
excited for him and his beautiful fiance. Shout out to
Yeah,
her.
she thought it was a birthday trip for her, and I actually forgot it was her birthday because I was planning to propose the whole time. So yeah,
That's adorable. I'm
yeah,
sure she was so happy though with the results. She
she
looked
was.
very
when
happy in the
when we
pictures.
first got when we went to Mexico. When we first got there,
Mhm.
there was a couple of people on our floor that had like happy birthday sashes or whatever on their
Oh
doors,
no.
and she was like, "Oh, I want one of those," and I was like, "Well, they're gonna put a just engaged one on in like 36 hours. So just chill. Don't she but she kept being like, I really want one. Can you go ask? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. Just wait.
I'll
But yes,
totally
I
go
did
ask
get
later.
engaged, go on PTO and use your PTO to get engaged or just enjoy time off.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Tell the people where they can find you, and where you want people to reach out to you, whether it's for We Get It or just personally to interact with you. Where do you want people to find you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say just go on LinkedIn and search my name. That maybe let's start there. I'm always on LinkedIn. That's how Anna and I got connected.
It is.
And yeah, we get it is wegetit.us is the website. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, hit me up on LinkedIn, especially if you're in the business space, whether it's creator economy or otherwise. I'm always looking to just
Yeah.
connect with people. And I do all these things, but one of the things I love to do that I never really talk about is just connect
Hmm.
people. So I'm always behind
Right.
the scenes, just like I'm doing calls all the time, just connecting with people, and I'm like, oh, I just talked to someone the other day that does this. Put them on an email,
Yeah.
So like, I'm always down to just connect with people and just learn about what you're up to and what inspires you and what you're passionate about.
Awesome. We all heard it here. Don't harass Austin, but connect with Austin. Enjoy his work. Engage with We Get It. Thank you again. You've been a wonderful guest, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.